Hello everyone, my name is Michelle and I have a YouTube channel called College Buddy where I share tips and tricks and advice as far as college is concerned. I've even shared some videos about some scholarships. If you guys want to check that out on my channel, College Buddy, you definitely can. So in today's video, what I'm going to be doing, guys, is I'm going to be talking about my college experience. And I don't think I've shared much of that with you guys thus far, and I want to start doing that. And I've done that over the course of a few videos so far, but I want to continue this. So I was reading a review of someone posted for a local university, and they talked about their experience. And this person's name is Jay. They posted their review a month ago for the university they attended. And they talked about the fact that they are a working parent. Okay. And they talked about the program they attended didn't work well for working parents. And so when I was in college and I had just gotten started with my freshman year of college, I did have a view of people who are working parents, okay? And I also felt like college was for a specific age group of people only, okay? And this is just based off of, what I saw on TV, movies, media, and everything like that, okay? So, so when I started off in college and I first started taking classes as a freshman, then my ideas about college were kind of like the things that are fed to many of us who are in high school and things like that. We get a lot of what we know from friends, family, media, wherever. So my thoughts were that college was only for students who were college, I'm sorry, not college. College was only for people that were high school graduates only. And the reason I felt that way was because, like there are a lot of videos about, or I'm sorry, not videos, but there's a lot of movies where you have teenagers who graduate from high school and the next step for them is going to college. And that's what I thought. I thought college was only for teenagers who graduated from high school. And, because I had that view and it was fed to me from various sources of media, who was I to say that, the media was not right about this? There are countless movies where, we watch and TV series where the main characters, they're teenagers, once they graduate from high school, they go to college, right? Makes sense. So for me, when I started college, I thought college was only for high school graduates. And that's all the kind of students I thought I was going to see, right? And I thought there was going to be, diversity on campus. So there would be people who would look different from me on campus. But everybody there would be a high school graduate, like myself. So what happened is that I found that when I took a few of my classes, I noticed that there were some elder people in the class. So there were people that were my parents' age taking classes at college. And I noticed that there were people that were my grandparents' age that were taking college classes with me. And I was a freshman. And I'm just like, I thought college was only for people that were high school graduates only. I'm like, what are people my parents' age doing here? What are people my grandparents' age doing here? That doesn't make sense. I've never seen this on TV. Nobody's ever talked about this before, right? So, it especially surprised me when we were doing an icebreaker in one of my classes, and one of the students there that was my parents' age, um, they mentioned that they had children. And I was like, they have kids, and they were talking about like their kids were in elementary school or whatnot. And I was just like, what? Their parents and they're taking classes at this college? What? It was like it was so mind blowing to me. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, what time are they gonna have to take classes? Because they have kids they're taking care of. Don't they have jobs? Like, if they wanted to go to college, I mean, shouldn't they have done that coming out of high school? Like what me and other students have done, you know? So, it really puzzled me because I was like, how are these people going to have time? Like, they're parents, and they don't have time like, me and the other students that are in my age group that are high school grads that are like 18 and 19, you know. So, what are these parents even doing here, taking classes? What are these grandparents doing being here taking classes? Like, I don't understand. And so I found myself being super clueless. As time went on of me like taking classes in college, it became the norm for me to see, students in college that were older than me taking classes. I mean, the majority of students were in my age group, but there were still people that were older than me, that were taking classes. People in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s taking classes at college. And, it became the norm for me. And for many of you, this may surprise you because, when you watch movies about, college too, like you don't see any students that are in this age group of, from 30 to 70, or even people in their 80s or 90s. Like, you don't even see that at all. Like, it's a total shock. Like, you don't see that on the movies when they talk about, college movies and stuff. A lot of college movies, there people are in, sororities and fraternities and all that. And everybody's, 18, 19, 20, or 21, like, you don't see any older students, but in real life, in college, you're going to see students that are older than you. And there were some students in my classes that, like, on the first day of, I was another class I was taking. And on the first day of one of my business classes, then there were some students that were in my age group that I think this might have been when I was like a sophomore, I think. And there were some students that, I think by this time I was probably 19, I think. And I was a sophomore, and other kids were like in the same, age as me or whatever, around the same age as me. And I remember some people were like, actually, I might have been a freshman. I might have been a freshman this time. Let's just say I was a freshman. So anyway, one of my business classes I was taking, there was some of my classmates that were goofing off on the first day. And then what happened is there was a lady that came into class, and she was a student, and she was in her, I believe she was in like in her 40s, and she was taking the same class as we were. And here we are, freshmen, and she's also a freshman taking classes, and she was in her 40s. And I noticed that, some of my classmates, they were joking around and everything at first, but then when the lady in her 40s walked in, that could be around, their parents' age or whatever, like when the lady had walked in and stuff and she sat down and she was like getting her stuff ready for class, then a lot of my classmates stopped goofing off because they were like, oh my gosh, this lady is our parents' age, like, and the lady might have been like, she was in her 40s somewhere or whatever. And so, a lot of people were just, shocked, and they were they got quiet, like they didn't know what to say, They pretty much were under the impression like we were still in high school. And I think this is something that a lot of people don't realize is that college is not high school. You don't have the same rules or, policies and things going on in college that you have in high school. Like it's not the same. When you're in college, you may not immediately realize this, but college, this is where you're paying for your education. And it's not the time to goof off. It's really not. And some of you may not want to hear that, but it's not, because you're paying for college, and this is something where, and some of you may say, well, my parents are going to pay for college for me. And, I don't have to worry about it. Well, if your parent loses their job and you have to take out a loan to pay for your college expenses, then it won't be a laughing matter then. And the thing is in college is that you go from, an immature mindset to being, more mature in college because you're going to have experiences in college and in life that are going to cause you to mature, and this doesn't happen for everybody, but it's a good idea to get your start, of becoming mature in college. I'll tell you why. Because when you finally, like when you graduate from college and you start, you start working for a company or business someplace, they're going to be expecting you to act mature and act like an adult. They're not going to be tolerating you acting like a kid when you're at a job. They're just not going to. And there are a lot of people who don't grow out of that high school mindset, but when they get into jobs and they have to start making money, they become surprised when people aren't laughing when they're working at jobs. Like nobody gets their jokes anymore. Things aren't funny anymore to make fun of people. And if you make fun of people on a job, you can be disciplined and even lose your job. And when you have to make money to support yourself and you goof off and you violate a you know, work harassment policies and stuff, then it's not funny when you lose the job because if you live in an apartment or a house and you have to pay bills and stuff, it's not going to be funny when you can't pay your bills and your utilities get turned off. It's not going to be fun when you can't pay your cell phone bill. You can't pay your internet bill. You can't pay your electric bill. It's not going to be fun. It's especially not going to be fun if you can't afford to live on your own and you have to move back in with your parents. And it's going to be really weird doing that if you have to do that. People do that, but the thing is, it's like once you get out on your own and you're a grown adult, you want to try to maintain your own sense of privacy and be able to live life on your own terms. And being immature and childish, and things like that, that's something you have to really leave behind. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't have fun. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy life and things. Of course you can. But, doing things like bullying people and, making fun of them and stuff like that, it's best to leave that behind. It's best to leave behind in high school, the mentality where you're going to disrupt the class and all that, because in college, you can be asked to leave. And, in college, you could also be expelled from the college. And, that could be bad for you because if you got any type of scholarships or grants or anything, and that organization that gave you those scholarships and grants, they find out about you acting up in college, you could lose funding for college. And then you're going to have to get a job and try to work, and if you can't get a job because you couldn't be mature when you were working at a job, you're not going to be, it's not going to be a laughing matter. And, you'll understand more about life because, when you are in high school, people are forgiving. When you're in middle school and elementary school, people are forgiving of the things you do. You know, once you become an adult, life has consequences. It's not like, you can, depend on your parents to clean things up for you, or, other people to fix stuff for you anymore. Once you're an adult, like you can't expect that, you know, and I just kind of want to put that out there too. When I was in college, there's things I didn't know, but I adapted. And, you have to adapt to the environment in college. College is not about goofing off. It's not about wasting your time and stuff. If you want to goof off and waste your time, then you should just you should just not go to college, not waste your time and effort and everything. Another thing is that if you're going to get a job, a lot of jobs require you to have a college degree. And if you can't make it to get a college degree in college, you might have a hard time finding a job, you know? So I just kind of thought I would share this. And this kind of went a bit more beyond what I thought I was going to talk about in this video. But, college is not just for high school graduates, it's for people, that are of all ages. No, it's not for kids. It's not for anybody that's it's not for anybody who's like in elementary school or middle school. There are some opportunities like for some summer programs in college. When you are like a high school senior or something like that, or junior, you can like go to like a summer camp on a college campus. But beyond that, there's not really any other opportunities really if you're like younger than, if you're like not a senior or junior in high school, as far as like college is concerned. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I hope this has been super duper helpful, and thank you for watching. Bye.